men, we are the pillars of education, we are the pillars of information. That's why we are known as the Edu Infotainment Radio. I don't know how your day is going. How is your day, Malabites and Malabites? Shout out to all the Malabites in all four, all the Malabites in all five, all the Malabites in all six, all the Malabites in all 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're not forgetting our senior comrade, we are the postgraduate students. A big shout out to you out there. All the Malabites and Malabites in all two, we are sending our salama to you guys out there. So you're not forgetting Malabites and Malabites off campus too. A big shout out to you guys out there. Hope you are having a pleasant, enjoyable, cool, and too. It's Unica 103.5 FM, and it's the voice of your radio boyfriend, Sika. If I trust me, today we'll be talking about something very, very important. I don't know how and this will sound, if it's a good news or not, but and what some persons they said is actually good, they want to rest. So some they said it's nothing to write them about, and they feel this should come to an and we're talking about the organized labor strike. When we're talking about the organized labor strike, we're talking about where the Nigerian Labor Congress and the Trade Union Congress coming together in synergy to go on an indefinite we'll be talking about that today. I've been seeing a whole lot of places, a lot of vital, sectors that have been shut down. The aviation sector, hospital, banks. We are not forgetting even us. Okay, of course, somebody will say us. We're actually waiting for that too. So we'll be talking about that. Yeah, I will not be doing this alone. Yeah, in our studio, yeah, we have a senior comrade. I told you guys I send a shout out to all the postgraduate students. So we have the 001 of and the postgraduate student University of Calabar is Comrade Prince Obedience Aben. Comrade, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not finished.
Oh. Okay, he's actually known as AKA Ayahtutu. I don't know if I got that correct.
Yes, you did.
So welcome, Comrade. How are you feeling today?
Oh, well, I'm feeling, it's a mixed feeling anyway.
Well, we'll talk about the mixed feeling later. So he didn't come here alone. We had Comrade Promise Agim joining us. Comrade Promise, how are you feeling today?
I'm good.
Yeah, welcome to Unica 103.5 FM.
Thank you very much.
So today we'll be talking about, we've been seeing this whole lot of dramas from the organized labor. This is not the first time, this is not the second time, this is not even the seventh time. And hopefully if things are not set right, this might not be the last time. Organized labor have strike again. And footballers lovers will say, I think there is no striker that strikes better than the Nigerian Labor Congress and the TUC as well. So and 001, let's talk about this. We've been seeing of getting series of organized strike by NLC and TUC. It's not as if it's a seasonal movie where season 1 will come and go, and then we are expecting another season and so on and so forth. What is really going on?
To start with, I bring very warm salutations to all the listeners all over the globe from the prestigious university and union talking about the postgraduate student government, which at the campus level, I think is the highest cadre of unionism, because it's a combination of all those who are doing postgraduate programs, ranging from postgraduate diploma, masters, and PhD in different fields. So, by that, it should give you an idea that we are talking about a community of specialists in almost all the spheres that have links with academics. Those law, medicine, name them. So long as you're running a postgraduate program, yeah. Remember, now, I say this to open up the discussion because the strike, of course, strike is a constitutionally permissible action. It is allowed for the expression of vexation. It's a civil activity by citizens and those who are affected. But the issue of utmost concern is not just about the strike, but the result, the outcomes of the strike. In our climes, particularly in Nigeria, the issues of strike have become part of our maybe daily discussions. Even those who are learning how to talk are also learning how to pronounce strike, because it's common. It's very, very common. Every now and then there is one strike or the other, especially as that has given very much popularity to that concept of a strike. But you see, like I said, the issue is not about the strike, but it's about the outcomes. What are the reasons for the strike? And after the strike, what becomes of the situation for which reason the strike was in the first instance called for. So, as much as we know that the strike undertaken by all the unions, and of course, this one we can call it a combo, a combination of all the unions. It's
Yeah.
like the country is even shut down. You don't even know where to run to for any service. Unfortunately, the irony of it is even that the same masses are equally suffering very well by this industrial action taken by the ones that are striking. For instance, if you look at the campus, I just left the hostel now to come here. They don't have water.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
started
yeah.
running to me, President, there is no water. Oh, there is no water. Phones are shut
Shut down.
down. Their systems, you can even see my phone is not on. And that implies that they cannot do research. They cannot do research. So even when we see this strike action as being very necessary, given the intention that it should be to address very salient national matters, our commonalities. You look at how the economy is, go to the market and see for your. Nobody goes to the market and comes back smiling. It's probably only a few who may have one or two advantage to take from it. Those advantages, in most cases, they are only known to the ones that are getting the advantages. But the popular, in a common parlance, you cannot know who is getting the advantage of the inflation in the market. But I mean, it's alarming. So the strike is a necessary action. Campus is shut down like every other part. Things are not happening because of the action, but the outcome is where our concern is. Would it be the usual thing like just a call it decimal, you're striking, and after that we are back to the status quo
Yeah,
to plan another one? Out that as much as we know about strike, we also know that each time there are also negotiations going on. And the question one will ask is, what have been the outcomes of this negotiation? What do we get at the end of the day as masses, where we belong as an ordinary citizen? To what extent does those impact on us? And if they're actually negotiating well, why are the strikes coming over and over again? So as much as we are supporting this strike, for me particularly, I mean, because it is not working for anybody. The country is like we are in a fix. So if this is what will give us the result, if this is what will rejig the system, if this is what will a bit stabilize the economy, I mean, it won't be out of place at all. But let the reason for which the strike is embarked upon be achieved. It should not be politicized. It should not be commodized. Some people should not take advantage of it and enrich themselves only to play with this. The sensitivity of the masses. Thank you very much.
All right, Comrade, I promise, the Comrade Obedience have actually said a whole lot of things. It was actually hitting more on the outcomes of this strike, and we've been seeing series of strikes like this. This is not the first time. Trust me, like you said, that a newborn baby can actually pronounce strike because we've been seeing this over and over again. I don't know if there is, a Nigerian student who will say I got admitted into a federal university from my 100 level to 400 level. I did not experience anything called strike. I don't know if there's anyone. Now let's talk about the outcome of this particular one. We saw yesterday where the organized labor had a meeting with the Senate president and some key members there. We were actually hoping that normally the Nigerians, what we see, will sleep over and then wake up to hear that they've called up the strike, but they had a solid balanced ground. But that did not happen. Did you feel that the purpose of the organized labor going on this strike might be different from the other strikes we've been experiencing?
All right, thank you. Very beautiful question. First, I'd like to start by saying that, in my opinion, I describe this strike as a necessary evil.
Okay.
If you were to check every time that labor went on, in fact, the labor strike has always been the reason why the minimum wage has increased since time when they started striking. So if there were no strikes, I'll tell you that the average civil servant or an employer in Nigeria, an employee in Nigeria will be receiving nothing. compared to how the economy is advancing and all. So the strike is a necessary evil in the sense that since it affects the day-to-day running of the systems, particularly for me who is a law student. You go to school when you're supposed to have lectures, and nothing is working. But it's necessary because students will need to go back to their parents to get money to come and pay school fee, and the prices of things are really inflated. So with the meeting that Labour had with the National Assembly yesterday is is something that is not the first time it's happening. It has always happened where they will meet and negotiate because they bear the interest of their members at heart. But as usual, the money they are asking for, in my opinion, it is very unrealistic. 430 something thousand. If you fix that in the economy of Nigeria, the economy will crumble. But of course, I don't think that Labour has ever called off a strike out of satisfaction. They will always, the federal government will always make a promise. We are going to do this, we are going to do that. So usually the strikes are always suspended for a moment and then strike again. So I think that the government should look into the matter, even if it's 100,000 or a little above 100,000. It's good considering the inflation, prices of things. The economy is not smiling. People are suffering. I know of many of my colleagues who have dropped out of school. Many of them, their parents are civil servants. They cannot meet up with feeding them, sheltering them, buying them clothes, and then still paying the school fees. And the school fees themselves were increased recently, 100% increase. It was increased 2 years ago or last session, and then this session again. So things are not smiling. So I think the federal government, I was speaking to a few citizens, what do you call it, common men or the ordinary people, and they would say that there's money in this country. There's money in this country. Let the legislators, let them reduce their allowances, curtail what their take home, because what the take home, if you analyze it, is too outrageous. What are they doing? In the words of the people I spoke to, what are they doing that they're taking so much? So let them reduce their own salaries, reduce their allowances, and give it to the people who are even really running, the day-to-day business. So I think that the federal government should come and strike a balance, if not fulfilling 100% of what they have asked for, but at least let them go home satisfied that their demands have been met.
All right, so if you're just joining us, this is Unica 103.5 FM, and we are talking about the organized labor strike. And don't forget, too, the organized labor came out and said that they want, a minimum wage of 494,000 naira. That's what they proposed to the federal governor. That this is what they want, the 494,000 naira and proposed minimum wage. Do you think this is realistic, and do you think this will actually work out for the labor itself? Our phone lines are now open. In case you want to join the conversation to 09069880789. I think I was so fast there. I did that intentionally because I know I would drop that number again. The number is 09069880789. So you can call us, drop SMS. Let's get to hear your own view on this organized strike by the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress. But maybe you want to run through us on our WhatsApp line that is also open. So 0094440. I think we have a caller already. Okay, let's try and see if that was you. Please try and call us back 09069880789. That's the number to call. So, Comrade Obiden, let's look at this. The Labour are proposing a whooping sum of 494,000 naira. Do you feel, and this is actually very realistic?
Well, that amount, I also feel that it is not realistic. Even though if you look at the labor force, the organized labor in this case, look at the organized labor, a chunk of the employees that are under the payroll of government is not really, I wish I have the statistics.
Okay.
It's not really as much as the common man might be thinking. For which reason? if you hear that amount and you just begin to think that
Okay, Comrade, sorry. Let's take this call. This person has actually been calling. So let's. Hello, you carry your name and where you're calling us from. Hello, you carry your name and where you are calling us from. Please, if that was you, please call us back. That's 09069880789. So Comrade Obedience, you're on course.
or as I continue, the uh, population of those employees who might be affected by this increment they are proposing for the minimum wage, it's not so much because if you look at the whole chunk are in the private sectors and a whole lot self-employed and all that. But even at that, a 400 and something thousand naira as minimum wage in this country, I don't think, even though the country has as much as can take care of that, I don't think it's fine to put that all into uh, one person's hand salary or minimum wage for now.
Okay, I think we have another caller. Please, your name and where you're calling us from. You can read you. 0906869880789. 09069880789. In case you're having network difficulties, don't forget you can actually send your contribution to us on WhatsApp 0908094444058. I say welcome to obedience.
Now, to continue, that is not to say that I mean the amount is so much
Okay.
for one person to have. No, it is in recognition of the fact that there are things we need to fix in this country,
Okay.
such that if those things are done, generally the living standard will be easy for everybody. If our social amenities, the social infrastructures are given maximum attention, one may not have to need so much. So as much as they are trying to look at, and improve minimum wage, it is also important we try to give consideration to the other, parts of the other, areas of development in the country. So if they have something like a little to the right and a little to the left, just make a shift and put it at very bearable, minimum, then reinvest. Because the problem we have in this country is that most times when you even talk like this, they propose it, give crumbs as a way of negotiation with the deceit that they are want to look at the economy and fix other things. Who they misappropriate the funds, they just squander it, and that is why that is why the thinking is very popular that whatever Labour is asking for, they should have it, on the grounds that there is no sincerity on the part of government.
Come on, let's pick this call. You know, can you do your name and where you're calling us from? Hello, good afternoon. Your name is Sophia. So how are you doing this afternoon, Sophia? Good afternoon. Please, your contribution on the strike issue. Okay. Okay, so you feel it's not realistic, right? Okay. So that's Sophia's contribution. Thank you for calling Unica Radio. So, Comrade, I think she's actually trading your part.
Yeah, so it takes us back. You heard what she said.
Yeah.
Now she is saying Labour is not realistic on the basis that even the paltry 33,000 minimum government is owing. That is the insincerity we are talking about. Why is government owing? Is government owing because there is no money to pay the people? It's not so. It is not so. So that's what we are talking about. That there is no sincerity on the part of government. For which reason everybody now feels that, this issue of is a national cake, just go have a bite, and then when you have access to the cake, cut as much as you can take to feed all those around you and all that. That's your opportunity. Is have the been for underdevelopment in this country. By the way, if government was all right, if government was providing for the citizenry that which she ought to, would we have the issues we're having in the market? It will be there. By the time There is light, for instance, and you don't have to pay so much, you have access to it. The education is not expensive as what we are seeing. When my comrade here was talking, he made reference to the increment of
school, yeah.
Did you understand? In a government, in a federal university, supposing government has lived up to expectation and made education as cheap as what we expect, how would the man who earns 37,000 as minimum wage complain that he no longer can meet the demands of, for instance, attending to his kids or his wards that are in school? Because it affects every sector. Look at transportation today. I traveled to Abuja the other time. In fact, just go anywhere. The 5,000 naira that used to take us to Abuja will now only take you to somewhere.
I can't remember the last time we paid 5 people to Abuja.
Oh, you can't remember. I started traveling to Abuja with 2,500 first as the first fare, and then grew to it's about sometimes in 2002 or so. Then in 2005, about 5,000. About 3,500. It was not up to 4,000. Today, calculus will tell you 35,000. You don't even have a chance to beg. So it's affecting every sector, and that is because government is not sincere. And of course, she is saying Labour is not being realistic. Do you know how much they squander in politics? Even though there is a line of argument that, look, you are doing this for those constituency, you come and you are representing people, so whatever is given you, you take back home and you develop the people and all that. Come on, let's be very honest to ourselves. Do we, if not for a few of them that are outstanding, just very few that I can't even mention, very, very few, I don't even think we have this kind of records in crossover. I'm trying to say, can we really compare the things we see in our various constituencies to, reconcile it, juxtapose it with the largesse of take home as a line of argument? So yes, for the minimum, the demand from labor is high. Not so high that we think government is too pay.
Okay.
It's not. It's not like this government cannot pay it. It's just that the willpower is not there. And the reason why we are thinking that it is high, let them think of something a bit closer, is for the same interest of collective good, collective development, that probably in terms of our commonalities, building infrastructures and all that, looking at social amenities. But if we can even be sure, supposing we now know that indeed we can never trust government, everybody to your tent, O Israel, and so whatever you have, that is what it is. Anyhow you are seeing the country, know that is your share of the country. Then it will not be eating too much.
Okay, so let's look at it from this angle. Comrade Obedience have been saying that the government on their part have not been sincere enough. I've been saying, we feel that at some point, if the union members themselves, they have been sincere to their members, will not be having series of strike. Because why would you embark on a strike when you realize that your needs have not been met, and then you call off the strike again? Like, you went on the strike for a particular purpose, and then you call off the strike again when your needs have not been met. Didn't you?
So the citizens should support government's vision and see that the economy moves forward.
All right, 09069880789. That's the number in case you want to join our conversation. In case you're not joining us, it's Unica 103.5 FM. I have Comrade Obedience here, who happens to be the 001 of the postgraduate students here in Calabar, who came along with Comrade Promise Agim. We're still talking about the organized strike. We've been seeing this. Today is as if the organized labor use a sledgehammer on the federal government. Now, talking about that, I think we have an SMS here. This is from Ransom Shedrack from Calabasa. He said, my own opinion is that what labor is demanding is not too much compared to some group of individuals like studying money in their personal affair. Let the government and the labor union do the right thing. We, the masses, we are suffering. Thank you. That's actually from Ransom Shedrack from Calabasa. I think this is the first person having a different view from what we are saying here. I mean, we're having these NANS members. We have, wardrobe allowance, family allowance, and the rest of the allowances that some Nigerians felt they are so unnecessary. So don't you feel that Shedrack is having a point here?
There's also newspaper allowance.
Okay. I will just eat it.
All forms of allowances. if you see, Shedrack's point is it corroborates what I've said earlier. If you look at these things the NANS members take home, most of it is assumed that they are taking it to the people.
Yeah.
For instance, their constituency allowance is so much. I was at the Senate wing of NANS 2 weeks ago, that's National Assembly, and somebody drew my attention to something. Notice that each time any of these representative, whether as a senator or rep member, has a guest, they are very enthusiastic to take pictures with the people. I said, yes. He asked me, do you know the reason? I said, I think that they're social,
Social, yeah.
trying to be receptive and all that. He said, yes, you have a point, but that is not the real essence.
Okay.
He said the real essence is that he hates them do retirements. At the end of it, do retirements, they bring up, make a report that and bring those pictures as evidences that their constituents actually came asking for all the variations of allowances they take home. So that's what happened. Yeah, indeed, there is provision for health, those who have health challenges, those who for scholarship, educational needs. There are provisions for all of this. And so it takes me back to the point I earlier made that if we're actually being sincere, both the government and those affair, you take this to us and the people really feel the impact, those who should have it, these complaints won't be there so much. After all, again, I say, some of these challenges, some of these issues are things that have been taken care of. Supposing the general system is, as provisions are made, supposing they are executed in line with the initiation. But it's not like that. And so everyone now feels that, oh, for instance, it's just me. It's like there is nobody else about me. So all that you need to pursue, it's just you and you. Is it transportation? Is it education? Is it health? It's whatever. And so you begin to feel like what you don't have, you don't even expect it from anywhere. For which anyone could feel that this is not too much. And again, I say, for even me who feels that it is too much, that Labour is not being realistic, is not to say the country doesn't have that capacity financially. She does. But that there should still be that, expectation that their dividends they are expecting, there is something the country or the leadership of the country is collectively doing for all of us. They want to fix infrastructure, both social amenities and all that to make life better and advance the country. All of those things are the concerns that those who are rational to think that what Labour is asking for is too much. It is in consideration of those factors.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you take that away, if you just take it away and assume that no, we don't expect anything from government, the government is not doing anything, or if they are even doing anything, let them stop. Don't fix the road again. Stop telling us about what you want to do for education. Stop telling us about whatever you want to do. And let us say, see what the people up there are collecting. Okay, we down here, let us collect this and see how we can also manage our life. It is not too much. It's not too much. But because the government will still tell us, and of course, to some extent, you will see evidence, just that in most cases, they just start it and they don't finish it. Very good policies, they are fixing the road. Look at, I kept emphasizing this road thing because I know how much it affects us in Cross River here. It's very popular that Cross River to you has become farther than it used to be because of how bad the road is. Then it further affects, the vehicles. They look at the charge, the fare from here to you now is something no one should be happy about. If you're even driving, it's more expensive.
True.
You can't go to you and come back without fixing your car. Apart from the fuel
aspect.
I'm telling you, let us assume you have fuel or you don't even need fuel at all. Just drive the car and go to you and come back. At most, if the vehicle makes the first journey, maybe because it's very strong, the second one will not be without a mechanic touching it. All these things, it returns back to the, I mean, it increases the financial burden. It comes back to the people. So, my brother and whoever is listening,
I've actually joined this strike. Now, what will be the fate of a common man?
Thank you very much. That question just goes along the line from which I spoke before. You can imagine a sector like the health sector, hospitals closing up in a time where we have, increase in the. I mean, this is really go on strike. You should put all these things into consideration. Okay, I thank God that the hospitals, if you go there, I think you still get somehow they will attend to you to show that the strike is not 100, is not watertight. So, for instance, what if their leadership, maybe somebody in the hem of affair of this strike, now goes ill, and then you go to the hospital, they say they will not treat you because you're on strike. So, all these things, factors that the NLC and those who are pursuing this, goal should put into consideration before striking. So that's just. I'm not saying that the strike. I call this a necessary evil. It's necessary, but it's evil. Evil because it affects the present need, of the citizens. For instance, one of my brother who was having an issue this morning and was rushed to the hospital. He was bleeding. He had an accident, and I went there. They said everywhere was locked, and we had to rush him to a clinic. A doctor who lives in our street who has a clinic, and we're begging him to help attend to him and all that. So these are the factors that NLC should consider. What this thing we are looking for, what are we ready to sacrifice? To what detriment, will this thing cost us? Are we ready to pay the price, to get what we want? You weigh your options and your interest, and then check which one is more important. If you don't have the now, you cannot have the tomorrow. It is yesterday that gives birth to today, and today as well for tomorrow. So while they are considering, a long-term benefit for our members, they should consider the effect it will have presently on the economy and the citizens of Nigeria.
Okay, now so let's look at now. Let's dive to the private sector. Earlier you saw the private sector agreed to a proposed 60,000 naira by the federal government, and as a result of this, yesterday, the chairman of the NLC, Comrade Joe Ajero, and came up and said that if that what he wants is if the federal government wants to accept the 60,000 minimum wage, this is what he wants the president to do. He said the president should come and then get you 60,000 naira. He will take care of the president's family. He will feed the president's family, and then let's see how the president manage the 60,000 naira for these 31 days. So we're looking at a point where we've seen, shall I say, a bit kind of conflict where the private sector have accepted this 60,000 naira, but Labour are still dangling if they should or if they should not accept it. So, Comrade Obidien, I don't know if you have any reaction.
for the private, they equally have their own factors. They have their own issues that they are looking at. We should understand that the sectors to be distinguished, their peculiarities, the public and the private sector. So I am sure some have looked at their own peculiarities and probably done their analysis to inform their decision,
Okay.
to be very honest. But I don't think that the differences in their position is so much a bone of contention that is affecting whether the strike should be called off or should be sustained. But I think what always comes to mind each time there is this strike, one will just think of those who are in the public sector. The public sector workforce has mostly been the major point of consideration. Not too much. They don't think too much of the private sector. But like I said, for them to look at it and said, okay, this is what we are agreeing, and it's not in line with what the public sector is agreeing. They have their peculiarities. They have the things they have considered. So I don't want to talk so much on that because I might not have enough information about those peculiarities that is informing their different positions.
So, Comrade, you want to react on this, where we've seen, a bit of conflict between, should I say, conflict, where the private sector have agreed, okay, to the federal government propose 60,000 minimum wage, and then we are seeing the Nigerian Labour Congress and the TUC are saying we can't stand by that.
Yeah, it's a conflict that was expected because, of course, as you know, the private sectors, they cater for their own expenses.
Okay.
They pay their staffs from their own, interest. So for you to, and of course, from the root, the relationship between these employers in the private sector and the employee is what we call in law parlance as a contract, where you agree that you will do this service and I will pay you this. So this proposal to increase the take home of their employees is like not what they bargained for from the root of the contract. I don't know if you are getting it. So the private sector, and of course, you know that for an economy to move forward, the private sector have a serious stake in building an economy. Imagine a nation that has no industries or have no private businesses like Nigeria, like Calabar, where you have a lot of businesses folding up for various reasons in the past administration. So, and you see how the economy, somebody was talking to me yesterday, I asked him why he's not coming to church. He said, you know that this season is a season where we make our money and road transport because of the university, the students. So there are no industries for people to work. And when you don't have these private sectors, helping to employ, the level of hardship will be very much. So the private sectors are very important in determining the minimum wage. What can they pay? Each business's financial muscle is not the same because some business are older than the others, some business make more profits than the others. So their capabilities to cater for the remunerations of their workers are different. So if they say 60,000 naira is good enough for them, I think a consideration should be made around this. I don't know, but in my head, I don't know, it's just an opinion. You can, allow those who are in the private sector to take less, maybe 80% of 100% of all those who are public or civil servants are taking home. Or you consider the profit of these businesses, their financial muscle, what they can pay for, what they can pay for, so that you don't cause an unnecessary, burden for these businesses, some of which are just trying to stand. So the private sectors should be considered by the NLC, in terms of their ability to meet the demands because they are also part of this economy. They are feeling what we are feeling, and they are going through what we are going through. Thank you very much.
All right, so if you are just tuning in, it's Zinica 103.5 FM, number one Edu Infotainment radio station live here in the prestigious University of Calabar. 2 minutes gone past and 4 o'clock. We are talking about the organized strike by the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade and Union Congress, where we saw a whole lot of key sector of the economy shut down today. So we're trying to look at where the union proposed a whooping sum of 494,000 naira as a new minimum wage. I know as a Nigerian, I know as a person, what's your own take on it? Do you feel this is actually realistic? Do you feel the federal government will succumb to this amount? Do you feel this will stand? 09069880789. That's 09069880789. That's our phone line that was long open. You can call in. Let's get to hear your contributions. You can use that same number to send us your SMS to 09069880789, or maybe on WhatsApp too, 00944444058, 08094444058. So, Comrade Prince, Comrade Prince, let's look at this. And we're seeing that we've been getting series of strike like I said earlier, it's as if people that watch movie will say, I think this is a seasonal movie. I think I don't know which season this would have been, but we've been getting series of strike that's been happening. We've been seeing this that's been happening, and it's as if the organized labor, if I should say, if I'm right, that they are more organized this time. Do you feel that this might happen to be maybe the last strike Nigerians will actually experience if this should sail through?
Okay. Well, like I said earlier in my opening statement, that strike are necessary actions, and it is allowed. It's constitutionally allowed. I do not think that if this every request proposed by the labor or proposed by labor, the unions, is met for now, that
Okay.
will mean that our problems have been
Solved,
permanently
solved.
no. Things will come up again. Things will come up. And since in the Nigerian system here, it appears the language of strike is the one that gets to the government more clearly. They will, as other demands may come up, they will still ignore. They may not respond until there is a strike. Until there is strike.
Yeah, I think so.
So strike will not cease now. It has come to stay. It's part of the system. They will continue to strike. Of course, we know that this proposed minimum wage is not feasible. So by virtue of even knowing that this strike action cannot produce that result, is on its own projecting a future strike.
Occurrence, yeah,
But
yeah,
it
true.
will come up. It will come up, whether by this current leadership or the next one to come. They will return back to these records, and something one day will just spark it up, and they will say, okay, there was a time we made a request and something small entered. So strike will continue. It's part of the system.
Yeah, I think you have a point there because that took me back to ASU. You know, we've seen this the plan and agreement they had since 2009. You know, they brought that issue again.
How many years
How many years later they brought that issue
It will
again,
still come.
and then more we saw more demands that we added. So
It's in line with the dynamics of the society, because even as we speak today, the demands we make now, if you look at you now, look at your life, starting from yourself, the things you think you need now, in the next 5 years, you realize that you probably need more.
yeah.
Almost all the things you need now, you might not need them again at that time, or you need other things to be added to the ones you already have. It's the same thing. Society grows like we human. So as we desire to be like the Western world, we are a developing country. As we desire to catch up with
Yeah.
this, the global development, we would continue to have needs and all that for society to keep moving. So the dynamics of the society is by default, and given our climes, the Nigerian system here is by default strike prone. I'm sure this might not be so popular in most of the advanced countries. We wouldn't say they had to strike so much for them to
Yeah, to get the demand.
get to where they are. But there is a peculiarity with us as Nigeria, beginning from the name as Nigeria. That peculiarity equally captures this strike aspect of part of us. So as much as we desire to, keep growing, advancing and all that, strike is part of us.
So Comrade promise, you know, Comrade Obidien just said, you know, he made a very funny statement at the beginning of the word Nigeria that strike has actually been part of. Okay, before that, I think we have a caller. You know, can we do your name and where you're calling us from? Hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling us from? Hello. Please, if you can't hear you, if you can hear us, please call us back 09069880789 09069880789. So, Comrade Promise, you know, we're talking about what Comrade Obidien said, that strike has been part of us. But you know, I think we've gotten to a point where we've seen the government and the union, you know, using like a sledgehammer on the federal government. That they had a meeting yesterday, we thought that this would be fixed, but it was not fixed. Do you feel this will be the end? We'll not be seeing something like this before. But before you answer that question, let's pick this call. You know, can we do your name and where you're calling us from? Oh, someone calling from Akwa Ibom State. Wow, how is Akwa Ibom this afternoon? It's as if you are cold out there because of your voice. You can figure that out. Okay, okay. So can you drop your contribution regarding this organized strike? 4,000. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Right. Thank you so much. Your point are so valid. Thank you so much, Comrade Basi, all the way from Akwa Ibom State. So, Comrade, promise you were on course before the call came in.
So yeah, I would told the path of my president of postgraduate school. This strike has come to stay.
I think we still have another caller. Let's just
Okay.
speak so we can just react to them at once. Unical Radio, your name and where you're calling us from. Sorry, can you be more audible? So you say your name is okay, calling us from okay. It's finding it difficult to hear you end. Yeah, we are still struggling. Can you just help us be more audible? Okay, I think okay. Please, you have to call us again, and because it's actually very difficult getting your point here, and we would like to get your point. Another caller, you can read your name and where you're calling us from. Good evening. Yeah, good evening. Your name and where you're calling us from. Do what is right. That sounds like a sentence.
That's a comrade. That is the spirit of
All right,
comrade.
so I think I don't know. Okay, okay. So do what is right. Hit us. Okay. Yeah, long time ago.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, April. That was April. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm. You're right.
Okay.
160.
Yeah, even
I said I
142. Yeah.
was selling 155.
Yeah. Well, I think that he actually did a drop a valid point, but we'll react to that after Promise will say what he wants what for the call came in.
All right, thank you very much. So as I was saying, the strike has come to stay. We don't expect that this strike will in any time, be ever over, because I think if the strike will stop, will be that we dissolve the organization of the NLC and the TUC. Let there be no,
Unions.
unions again,
Yeah.
because as long as there are unions, there will be interest, and there will be
Clash.
clash of interest for which these people will always clamor. And the needs of man are really insatiable, and they're insatiable because not because man would have not been able to generate resource to meet the need. It's because the need are ever increasing. As you are meeting this one, more needs are
True.
appearing, especially with the trend, the globalization trend, and how the economy of the nation of the whole world is advancing. So the strike will always be, it has come to stay, like my comrade said. It has come to stay. It's just that at every point that this strike, there should be honest and urgent, strategies to meet the needs and their demands, and have a middle point so that we move forward with the nation.
All right, 09069880789 09069880789. You can read your name and where you are calling us from. Okay, okay, okay. Go ahead, thank God. Fire down. That's it, 2006. Yeah, yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, that's true, my brother.
civic duties. Mm. Mm.
That's true. Yeah. Value, yeah. Okay, so come do what is right. Can you just summarize so we can pick other calls? But thank you so much. I'm going to do what is right for those valid points. 001. I think you wanted reaction before you called back.
Yes. I thought you even want to call me Ayahtutu this time because each time I'm referred to as Ayahtutu, it spurs me up.
Yeah.
Because 001, do what is right is actually a comrade. You see, what he's saying here is what comradeship is all about. It's what it is all about. And I give it to him. He's very correct. But I was even going to say, even though I wasn't explicit, you heard me say that, yeah, the reason why it is very popular that what they are asking for is too much is in the thinking that there is also something government needs to do for our collective interest. Yeah. Even though I didn't peck it, for instance, build refineries and all that. But hey, those are part of the infrastructures I'm talking about. And he is correct. There is nothing do what is right said there that is wrong. He is very correct because the clamor for this increment, by the way, is informed by what the market, inflation, yeah. The struggle, the way the naira is running down, and I was even going to say, you see that money, take it to the market and see the value it has. When you even take that money and go to the market, come back, you would want to ask for more because he is correct. He is very, very correct. And that is why I have said earlier that what Labour is asking for ordinarily is not too much, but that there are things that the system should do, which is part of what do what is right has said. He didn't say them all. Of course, he limited himself to the topic under discourse. He didn't say it all. I have mentioned these things earlier. If the educational system is not the way it is now, like in those days that they used to have scholarships and all that, how many people were clamoring for increment of salary? He didn't bother. If at all there was going to be a need for it, nobody was going to make reference to educational system. Apply same to other sectors, like he has emphasized. They look at our refineries. Obviously, if the refineries get working, have I not mentioned earlier that transportation is outrageous? I have mentioned it, and it affects every aspect. It snowballs from top to bottom. And okay, no, I don't know how much it affects the top anyway, but at the middle and low class, hey. So it's not even about the figure. If you go by the money, like he said, no amount is too much, no amount is enough. But if they can fix the system, we may not have to need as much as that. Just a little, since we are advancing. Normally, even though the system was working very well, we also hope that in our advancement, let there be a reflection of that advancement in these figures too, as to take home. But basically, those are the issues. If they address, and that is where the insincerity of government comes in. I've started this discussion like that. How many times have I told us about this refinery? We so much spend without result. That is why those who even think that, hey, organized labor, unions, you are correct, just go home and sleep. It is because government is not sincere. If government has been responsible, we wouldn't even have, go to socialist economy where the least person has the basic needs. The highest person don't make any difference from the least person. Who would bother about having so much or hit on government for increment of salary? So, to wrap it up, it's a system thing, and government should be honest. Refinery, they kept talking about governments will come and go, and they are talking about this refinery that, refinery. How much does it take to fix it? And at the end of the day, in this administration, we have not started hearing about animals swallowing money. It was very common in the past. Snake will take money, monkey will take money.
I think that's another discussion for another day. Because I think we have a whole lot of things we have discussed, because do what is right. I've said a whole lot of things. Like I think I agree with him. He once found that before, I think we were earning less, and then the money has moved value that time.
That's value.
But now we are earning more, but the money has less value. So I think it's something that we'll sit down and discuss. This 28 minutes past 4 o'clock. We'd like to continue, but time is not always on our side. This is a very long discussion, and we'll do this again some other time. So thank you so much. Ayahtutu. I think I should call that now for the last time.
Yeah. If I have opportunity, I will rather say, when you call Ayahtutu, you can also say great.
No problem. So we'll actually invite you, find time to invite you to come to our studios again. Thank you so much, Promise. I am Comrade Promise. For finding time to be with us here at Nika 103.5. But before you go, what's your last word and promise?
All right. So, like I've always said, I'm a man of my words. The NLC should consider the negative effects that this has, and come to a middle point together with the federal government, and so that we keep the nation running, and also to expand their demand, include what our brother has just said. A clamor for value for the money that you'll be paying to these people, so that it will not be as if you are giving them with your right hand and you're taking
the left.
Thank you very much.
All right, so Ayahtutu, please, just 30 seconds, the last one. How to happy, because I know you can just be driving.
Well, let's just wrap it up. As I wrap it up, I will say Aluta Continua Victoria Santa. Of course, we are a union, and you would have heard that our national union, which is NANS, is at the apex, has taken side with the strikers, has taken side with unions. So we appeal to the federal government to look at the demands of the unions, and the unions should be sincere on their part. This insincerity, it affects every aspect. The union should be honest in their demands, and maybe make an amends too, to include these requests for fuel pump price reduction, and asking for our refineries to work. That will help us a whole lot to have value for any little we have.
So thank you so much once again, Comrade Promise and Ayahtutu for finding time to be with us. Before we go, we'd like to drop the unions that have joined this. So we have the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, the National Union of Electricity Employees, National Union of Banks, Insurance and Financial Institution Employees, Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria, Joint Union Action Committee, the Nigerian Union of Teachers, Nigerian Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, Joint Health Sector Unions, Amalgamated Union of Public Corporation, Civil Service Technical and Recreational Services Employees, National Union of Civil Engineering, Construction, Furniture and Wood Workers, Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Nigerian Union of Railway Workers, Nigerian Civil Service Union, Association of Nigerian Aviation Professionals, Academic Staff Union of Colleges of Agriculture, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, Senior Staff Association of Statutory Corporations and Government-Owned Companies, Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Nigerian Union of Journalists, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Polytechnic, National Union of Food, Beverage and Tobacco Employees, Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, Iron and Steel Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, National Union of Air Transport Employees, Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers, National Union of Postal and Telecommunication Employees, Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, Senior Staff Association of Universities, Teaching Hospitals, Research Institute and Associate Institutions. So these are unions that have actually
postgraduate student union government Unica.
So these are unions that have actually joined this strike. Well, we'll be giving you more and more updates regarding this, but for now, it's still an indefinite strike. Once the federal government, once they have a soft landing, we as Unica 103.5 FM will still let you guys know. Don't forget you can follow us on our official social media handles on Facebook. We are there at Unica Radio International, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We are better known as Unica Room 1. And also here at Unica 103.5 FM, we offer you professional services ranging from jingle production, advert placement, studio live talk, all these at a pocket-friendly price. Why not just walk up to our studio here and then strike a deal with us? Our studio is located at the Institute of Public Policy and Administration, ground floor, and then let's strike a deal. And trust me, guys, we'll give you the value to your money. My name is Nsika Ibad, your radio boyfriend. I always tell you, live a life to please the creator and not the creation. By 5, we'll bring you the Rogers by 5, and then the news by 8, and then the late night seal. So we have a whole lot of season well-packed content for your listening pleasure. My name is Nsika Ibad. Once again, enjoy the rest of our program. Good evening.
Thank you. This on schedule.
No, so even Mr.